Hi, I'm Ben from 1 Mile at a Time, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things in the world, which is the Emirates Shower Suite. I never thought a shower would be one of my favorite things in the world. I mean, not that I'm not into bathing, but I don't usually get that excited about showers. But the Emirates Shower Suite is sort of unlike anything else in the world. So if you have not experienced it, I don't want to say you haven't lived, that sounds bad, but give it a try. So, okay. I remember the first time I boarded the Emirates A380, it was so blinged out and it's just so obnoxiously awesome. Like, the amount of gold is disgusting and amazing. Whew, very exciting. But really the best part of the Emirates A380 is that they have 2 showers on board. So there are 14 first-class passengers, or 14 seats. Usually they're not all full, but in theory there are up to 14 first-class passengers. And then at the front of the cabin there are 2 shower suites. It's pretty cool to have a flat bed on a plane. It's pretty cool to be served caviar and champagne on a plane. All that stuff is cool. But that doesn't compare to showering on a plane. Let me tell you. I remember the first time the water flow, whatever you call it, started on the Emirates A380 when I showered, and I giggled. I giggled uncontrollably for an extended period of time because you don't ever think you're going to shower on a plane. That's just not a thing until it was on Emirates. I don't even know where to start with how ridiculous the experience is. So these aren't just some small, tiny showers. These are like large shower suites that you would be happy to have in a hotel. And the amenities are endless. So for example, the floors are heated. Like, you can choose how much you want the floors to be heated in the shower. They have so many toiletries that you could start like a secondhand toiletry business. And they actually give you like a big bag that you can take in the shower suite. I guess partly so you can swipe everything if you want to. It's exciting enough there, especially if you go with a glass of champagne or 2, who needs toiletries? But like, this is genuine. I don't know what to do. Emirates is very... Sorry, let's talk about the logistics of the Emirates shower. So the way it works is, after takeoff, one of the flight attendants comes by and they take your shower appointment. So they ask at what point you'd like to shower. So my strategy, and yes, I have a strategy for this, is you always make your appointment for the end of the flight, because that is when everybody else wants to shower. So that way you have it reserved. Typically, very few people shower in the middle of the flight. What ends up usually happening is I reserve the shower for the end of the flight, but then if it's like a 16-hour flight and you have a lot of champagne and then you take a nap and then you wake up a little bit hungover, you end up taking the shower then. So usually I end up taking the shower about mid-flight. They set it up. It only takes a few minutes for them to set it up. And then you're limited to 5 minutes of water. And I know this sounds like a horrible human injustice. How can you be showering in the air and only get 5 minutes of water? But the good news is you can turn the water on and off. So you can stay in the shower for a lot longer than that. So my strategy is, get yourself wet, you turn off the water for a little bit, then you can, rinse or whatever you do, and then, you can rinse all that off. And then for the last 2 to 3 minutes of the water, I just sort of stand there and giggle because it never gets old. Like, at this point, I've flown Emirates A380 First-Class probably 20 or 30 times, maybe even more. I think my 24-hour record is 4 showers. On a trip a while back, actually, I think there was a week period where I only showered on Emirates planes. So that's pretty cool as well. Or not, depending on how you look at it. Sad existence, whatever. If you were paying cash for an Emirates ticket, you'd probably be paying $20,000 plus, and that's something, of course, that to most of us is incredibly unaffordable. But the nice thing about Emirates is it's easier than ever before to actually redeem miles on them. So for example, Emirates partners with Alaska mileage plans. So if you have Alaska Airlines miles, you could redeem those for travel on Emirates, including in their A380 First Class. Another great option is Japan Airlines and their Mileage Bank program. They have some of the best rates on Emirates. They have a distance-based award chart, which means you pay based on how far you fly. And in many cases, that ends up being the best value. Alternatively, nowadays, Emirates Skywards, which is Emirates' frequent flyer program, is even partners with Amex membership rewards and also with the Capital One Spark and Venture program. So you could transfer points there. Their redemption rates are a little bit higher, but they also have access to the best availability. Keep in mind that eventually the A380 will be going away. It won't be happening anytime soon. Production is going to stop in a couple of years, so you might only have another 10 or so, maybe 10 to 12 years to shower on an Emirates plane before that is a thing of the past. Thanks so much for watching. Happy showering, and let me know what questions you have in the comments below.